I'm James Rule. Welcome to the Lonely Leader podcast, where we help existing and aspiring leaders find clarity, build resilience, drive performance, and enhance fulfillment. Executive presence is something that comes up with every single client I coach and mentor. People often put it down to a sense of confidence, something you've either got or you haven't got. And whilst that is true to a degree, it's not an innate trait that you're born with. Some people do have a higher level of presence. They command the room, they hold the floor. We've heard those phrases before than others, but I don't believe that's an innate personality trait. I believe it's because they have controlled the controllables. They've done the preparatory work that gives them that presence. So today's episode is about showing you a blueprint, a handful of steps, the majority of which can all take place before you step into those rooms that currently might intimidate you, before you step into the environment where you're going to make that big, nerve-wracking presentation. It's not all hit and miss on the day. It's about doing the things in advance that will give you a higher level of presence. Now, I know this to be true because I can think back to the first time I felt a sense of discomfort and have I got the right presence, and that was not long after I was appointed chief executive. I had a collection of the other chief executives with the governing body coming together for what is the standard sort of quarterly meeting, and I walked in that room knowing some people, not knowing others, and really struggling a little bit in terms of how to conduct myself, when and where to contribute, and came away feeling a little bit disappointed in myself, thinking, I probably didn't quite make the impact that I would have liked to have made. And that was a bit of a turning point. Because I thought, well, what do I learn from that experience? And obviously you never stop learning, but I put some things into play that really helped me achieve a higher level of presence in my career as a chief executive, and something that I take a huge amount of pleasure sharing these steps with people and hearing the feedback about how it has significantly helped them in terms of the presence they have when they go into those rooms. And when I talk about those rooms, we've all got them. You'll be very, very comfortable, no doubt, peer to peer at your level. You'll be even more comfortable probably going down into your direct reports, dropping down into your team. Most leaders are, but when you look up, when you think of, going up to present, perhaps it's to your board of directors, perhaps it's to the shareholder, major shareholder, your chairman, your chief executive, whoever he or she may be, there are certain rooms that you get invited into where you're like, and it's those rooms that this roadmap really fits. So let's dive into those steps. First and foremost, it's non-negotiable, it's no surprise. Do the preparation to the best of your ability. If we're going to have one thing that will turn the thermostat of stress and anxiety down, it's being prepared. None of us like to wing it, and walking into a room, especially those rooms that we've talked about that make you a little bit uncomfortable, underprepared, half-cooked, that isn't going to put you in the best place to have a real sense of presence and make a real impact. So take the time you are afforded with, whether that's a day, a week, or even a month. Use the time wisely, refine your presentation, practice the presentation, finesse the presentation. All that preparation is never wasted, and you can't really be guilty of over-preparing. Yes, there's a tipping point, but most of us don't often find it. Most of us fall foul of, I sort of winged that a bit, I was a little bit underprepared. And it might not be a presentation, but the preparation could be about knowing the room. You might be stepping in, you might be invited to join a particular meeting, but you don't have a big preparation, which takes me very much into the second key point, and that is know the room. You can find out who's in attendance. You can prepare, ask yourself those simple questions. Do I know any of these people? If I do know them, what do I know about them? What are their agendas? What are the agendas that they push? What are the strategic priorities that I've heard them talk about? If I don't know them, can I do some research on them? Can I check them out on LinkedIn? Will some of the people I know tell me a little bit about some of the people I don't know? There are so many ways we can prepare to avoid you walking into a room cold. And my third step links very much into that second step. Anticipate the ask. Many of us really feel our sense of presence crumbling when we get the proverbial curveball. When somebody asks us a question that we're like, I wasn't anticipating that. And they can come. Don't get me wrong. They're called curveballs for a reason. They come out of left field. You're not really expecting it, and it can be difficult to deal with. However, and it is a big but this, quite often you could have anticipated the ask if you'd just done the preparation. So going back to my earlier point, who's in the room? What are they passionate about? What are they talking about repeatedly in terms of agendas that they're pinning themselves to, or strategic priorities that they're articulating? And how does that relate to you? How does that relate to your area of work? If you know someone's passionate about a particular topic and you're going to be either talking about that topic or you have responsibility for that particular topic, it stands to reason that individual is probably going to come to you with a question. So try and anticipate. That doesn't mean you can guarantee. You're not a clairvoyant. You're not going to look into your crystal ball and say, right, I know what everyone's going to ask me. But just taking a little bit of time to think, right, Andy's in the room. I know his agenda. What's he like to ask me? He could probably ask me about this. Samantha's in the room. She's red hot on numbers. She likes the detail. So what might she ask me? She might ask me about this. Just running through that, you'll be surprised at how often, when you actually step into the room, some of those questions come to the fore, and you won't feel overwhelmed. You won't feel shocked. Quite the contrary. You'll have a little flicker of excitement. Oh, I anticipate this one and I've already prepared for it. The next tip is pick your power outfit. Now, this isn't a fancy dress party. We're not talking about superpower outfit, but we are indirectly. We've all got an outfit that makes us feel good. You can think of it now. There'll be a certain suit, a certain tie, or a certain shirt, trouser combo, a certain dress. There'll be something that you know, I feel good in that. I know I look good in that, and it gives me a sense of confidence. So make sure you wear it for the big meetings, the big presentation. A lot of how we show up is in how we feel. So it stands to reason that it's just a common sense non-negotiable for me. Don't be squeezing into that, set of trousers that are just a bit too tight for you now, that maybe fit 2 years ago but don't fit quite now, because you'll be self-conscious and uncomfortable. Wear something that you feel good in, because that will enhance how you enter the room and how you engage and present in the room. Now, I often talk to clients about a little analogy that most elite sports teams now have a whole raft of kit merchandise for their players, for the men and women to wear during the training week. Vests, t-shirts, hoodies, beanie hats, they've got that kit available. And it's a real mishmash. People wear different things for different sessions. But for the last training session of the week before a competitive match, it's often called the captain's run. That's the last time you come together, you finesse everything, and then you're ready for the game. And the vast majority of teams the world over now put their match day kit on, which is very different to what they train the rest of the week in. The rest of the week, as I say, it's a bit of a mishmash. It's a bit baggy. It can be a bit, tatty or shabby. Match day kit, a pristine body-hugging shirt, shorts, socks, if you're talking about a sport like rugby. Everybody looks the part. Everybody looks pristine. There's a psychological lift to that, and it tends to lift the standard and the quality of the practice session, because everybody flicks a bit of a, invisible switch in their mind to say, showtime, really got to step up now. And I've always taken that analogy into business. That's what this outfit does for you. When you put it on, it's not the sort of thing you just wear for working from home on a Wednesday afternoon. It's something that when I put this outfit on, it's showtime. And one thing I'd link back into the preparation point, have your final captain's run, have your final practice of your presentation, if that's what you have to make, wearing that outfit. Do it to a camera, put it on your iPhone, do it to your partner, do it to a friend. It doesn't matter, but create a little bit of pressure by having an audience or a camera on you. Put that outfit on, stand up, don't just sit at your desk, because you won't be just sitting at your desk probably when you present, and present with power, present with a bit of gusto. And you'll be amazed how that anchors into the outfit, so that when you pull that outfit out for the actual day, the day of your event, the day of your meeting, the day of the presentation, it tricks your brain into saying, well, I've been here before. I feel very comfortable doing this. And your likelihood of your impact and a high level of presence is significantly increased. The next tip I want you to consider is control your entrance. Now, I don't expect you to have marching bands, people scattering rose petals as you enter the room, perhaps a town crier screaming your name whilst ringing his bell as you walk in. But all jokes aside, when we're nervous about the room we enter, and I'm sure this will resonate, we often shuffle in quietly, pop up our laptop, sit down in a corner and just start, tapping away on the keyboard, perhaps looking at an email that doesn't really need our attention because keeps us occupied. I don't need to do that. People make up their mind about you within the first few seconds. We've talked about this in previous episodes. So if there are people in the room, particularly if there are people in the room that have never met you before, don't sheepishly come in unseen, unheard, and slide into an available seat and just disappear behind your screen. And this is equally relevant, even if everybody knows you in the room, but you still feel uncomfortable. It's one of those more senior environments you're stepping into. How you enter the room sets the tone. I said at the start about some people command the room. Think of the people that you are impressed with who have a real executive presence. They're not hiding quietly, tucked away on a stool in the corner in the kitchen of the meeting room. They are front and center. So some of you will recoil at that and say, well, I don't want to be front and center. I'm not going to be there cracking jokes. And I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to do the basics well. Take a few deep breaths before you walk into the room. Have your chin up, have your chest out, your shoulders back, stand to your full height and walk in ready to make eye contact with whoever you see, a smile and a good morning or a good afternoon, a hello. If it's someone you've never met, well, pleased to meet you. I'm James. Go in with a view that I'm not looking to walk in and disappear into the shadows and sit down. I'm looking to engage with the first person I see. That might be the CEO and the ultimate chair of the meeting. It might be someone more junior. It doesn't matter. Whoever you interact with, boom, you say hello. You exchange pleasantries with everybody. You smile, good morning. And yes, you might claim a place and put your laptop down, but don't sit down immediately. Of course, unless everybody's sat down, the meeting's about to start. I'm not saying stand there and peacock and walk around the room. People are going to say, is this person okay? But most of the time when we walk in these rooms, there's little clusters, there's people talking, there's people grabbing a coffee. Don't be the only one that's sitting down in the corner. Control your body language. It's what people are looking at. It's all they're looking at when you first walk into a room because you haven't had a chance to say much and you certainly haven't a chance to start presenting yet. My next tip is focus on the person in the room as well as the professional. Now, there's a lot made about rapport, empathy, connection, executive presence, and a lot of it, to be candid, is nonsense. Humans connect with humans when people make them feel seen and valued. One of the best ways to make anyone feel seen and valued is to remember things that are important to them. So this is, again, linked into how you enter the room, and when you first see someone, eye contact, hello, good morning. Is there something here that I can engage with them on? Now, I'm not asking you to be manipulative. I'm asking you to be a genuinely interested and curious individual. If you know people in the room and you know they're going to be there, think about your last exchange. Think about what you talked about. There'll be personal details. They were perhaps about to go away on a special holiday, celebrate a special milestone in their marriage. Perhaps their child was graduating. Perhaps somebody was getting married. That's just valuable intelligence to walk in and say, how was the wedding? How was the graduation? How was that trip? That makes people feel special. Oh, well, thank you for remembering. It was great. Equally, it might be professionally related. Someone might have been going on a specific course or a placement, or they told you about something. They were a little bit nervous, something that was coming up. How did that presentation go? How did you get on with that placement? You can do that anticipatory work as part of your preparation. Who's in the room and what do I know about them? And on the flip side of that, when you're in this meeting, anything that people share with you, make a note of it. Write it down. I was speaking to Samantha. She's just about to go off for her daughter's wedding over in a foreign country. Make a note. Or I was just talking to Andy. He's just about to celebrate his 35th wedding anniversary, and him and his wife are going away. I'll make a note. Now, that's so easy to do. But when people say to me, oh God, I hate the small talk when I walk in a room. How am I meant to connect? I don't know what to say. Don't say anything about you. Ask about them. Everybody loves to talk about themselves. We're all wired the same. We've all got an ego. It's our favorite subject. So when you walk in and say, how was this event? Graduations, weddings, special holidays that mean something to you. I guarantee they won't say, how dare you ask me about such a wonderful event in my life? They'll be like, oh, yeah, oh, thanks for remembering. And you're off and running. You're connected. You have a presence. Your body language is there to be seen. You're confident. You're commanding the room because you're there laughing, connecting with people, as opposed to what we talked about earlier, quietly slipping in, not saying hello to anyone and diving onto the laptop. So there's a raft of options, and every single one of them, in reality, with the exception of controlling your body language when you actually walk into the room, are within your control. So for those of you that are super nervous about this, can you do the preparation in terms of what you're going to deliver if you're asked to present something? Of course you can. Can you understand who's in the room? Gather intelligence on who you know and who you don't know? Of course you can. Can you start to anticipate the ask? What are they passionate about? What do they talk about? Therefore, what might they ask me? Yes, you can. Can you reflect on some of the human intelligence that you know about them? The special occasions, the things they talked to you about last time, things they were challenged with professionally. Can you put a mental note that if they're in the room and you get the opportunity, you're going to make sure you ask them about X, Y, or Z? You absolutely can. And then all of that is done in advance. And all that's required then is to walk in, head up, chest out, wearing an outfit you feel good in. And I guarantee if you do all of those things, you will feel a significant shift in your presence, your confidence, and it just keeps building. And then once you've got more rapport, more connection, more intelligence, well, you download that and you use it the next time, and so on and so forth. And what we find is we raise the bar on what we're comfortable with. We talked at the start that you'll be comfortable peer-to-peer and no doubt comfortable going down into your direct reports. Well, we'll raise the bar to a point where actually that next level up, going to that SLT meeting is no longer a problem. Then we'll move it again. Oh, I feel really nervous. I'm going to the board meeting. And then we'll get to a point where actually the board meeting feels comfortable as well. And who knows, one day maybe you're sitting chairing the board meeting itself. Why not? Shoot for the stars. Have the presence, hold the room, bring the best version of you to the fore. I hope these tips, as I always say, you'll be tired of me saying prompt reflection. And before I go, let me just talk about one other quick update in the Lonely Leader world that helps prompt reflection. We recently launched the Lonely Leader Academy. You can find it by tapping into your browser, tll.academy, ACADEMY. That is our virtual leadership development platform. It's designed with a raft of videos, written modules to meet you at a time, place, and pace that best suits you. So much of what we talk about on the podcast is built from feedback of leaders we coach and mentor and the Lonely Leader community, our listeners coming back and talking to us and saying, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? So we've taken it to a whole new level with the Academy. And a key aspect of it is the reflective questions. After every lesson and every module, we strip back what we've talked about into a set of reflective questions, and we're getting some wonderful feedback about they are prompting some real change, some real behavioral change in people, and course correction and establishment of new habits to give a high level of performance and fulfillment. So please do check it out if you haven't already. And as I always like to say to you, I wish you the very best of luck on your continued journey of growth and development. Thanks for listening to the Lonely Leader podcast. I'd be very grateful if you could share and follow if the content resonates. And if you're looking for additional free resource to support your continued growth and development, then please do check out our social media and website details in the show notes. Remember, quality leadership on the outside must always start within.